Welcome to the Armchair podcast.
Podcast.
With myself, Jacob Flowers, and my co-host,
Joshua Flowers.
Now, it's the first
Why
time...
am I the co-host?
Alright, you can be the main host if you want.
Are you the host?
With
or
the host,
the same
Joshua
thing?
Flowers, and the co-host, Jacob Flowers.
Thanks.
Let's get straight into it. We haven't done this in 4 years. The last time we did this was 4 years. A lot of growth since then.
Yeah.
Mentally and physically. As you can see, look at me, I'm absolutely massive. But
know.
it's a new Premier League season, arguably the most exciting Premier League season, the most anticipated ever. We say
More
that
football.
every season.
There's more football, more games.
More games,
The
live.
Titanic Burnley against the massive Ipswich. Ipswich are gone now.
The Titanic Leeds
Leeds.
against the epic Sunderland. We've got all that to look forward to and more. So let's crack into it because I know you guys are listening to it. You just want to get straight into it. Let's cut the bullshit. Let's go.
Yep.
So, Josh, I believe you've done a Premier League predictions for us.
Yeah, I have. So what we're going to do, I'm going to read them out and you're basically going to comment because I'm the expert really and you're kind of the
I
the
haven't
average
had
punter.
mine to do. I haven't done mine.
Yeah.
And I hate them because they're never right and everyone thinks they've got elite ball knowledge and they do, oh yes, Man United are going to finish 7th. No one has a clue, but let's just do them for the fun of it anyway, and I'll laugh at Josh's predictions. So here we go. We're starting from number 20. What you got?
Basic, but Burnley.
Give your reasonings. Why Burnley? Why can't they stay up?
I just think, honestly, I'm not going to pretend that I watch Championship. And unless you support a Championship club, don't act like you do as well. You don't. You might watch the odd game. It's actually, you know what? I watched Bristol City, Sheffield United the other day. Sheffield United, Bristol City. So there you go. I do watch a bit of Championship. But Burnley, Scott Parker, he just hasn't done it.
Do you not think, though...
Yo-yo, they're becoming a bit of a yo-yo club. I also
argue.
think, and as my other predictions will show, I think it's just done now. I think, as in, it's so hard to break in. And I just think that the established clubs just have a bit more than each of them.
Just to argue, put my 2 pence in. I think Scott Parker's a good manager. He's had experience coming up with a promoted team before in the Championship. He got relegated straight away, but I think he's learned his mistakes. And I think my bold prediction is if any team is going to stay up that has Premier League credentials, it has to be Burnley. I actually think they could do a decent job, and I think they could stay up. But let's be honest, if we're being realistic, I don't think any of the newly promoted teams are going to stay up. So that's number 20.
Yeah. Number 19, as much as I like the signing of Granit Xhaka, and I think he will be good, I've also just put Sunderland, because I think they were the weakest of the ones coming up. They were kind of the surprise. Obviously, I'm just focusing on the Xhaka signing, but I don't know.
It's not just Xhaka, though. They've made some really good signings.
Yeah, but they're in flux as well, and I just think it will just be really difficult. And like I say, I think just some of the other teams have more experience in the Prem. I just think it's quite hard to break into it. I don't know why, but I just think if you look at the last couple seasons, any promoted club, it's just been bloody hell. You're absolutely rinsing those biscuits. It's just difficult. So I'm gonna go Sunderland. It's 19th. Sorry, Sunderland. I'd love you to stay up, but don't think you will.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I don't think they're going to stay up.
And that means.
But they could have a better season than Newcastle at this rate.
Well, you never know. Guess who I put 18th?
Who?
Leeds. This is going to be the most boring video ever.
That's why I don't do them. But anyway, we'll fly through it. Leeds. Why Leeds?
I just, once again, just don't see it.
Yeah,
I'm just going off pure instinct,
right,
guys.
So we've got the 3 promoted teams
relegated.
What a shock. Okay, next.
17th, West Ham. Harry
West
Potter.
Ham?
Yeah.
That is, okay.
I watched them a bit last season. I think Fulkrug's alright, and I think some of their players, like their midfield's decent. And I actually think Aaron Wan-Bissaka played really well last season as well. I just think the fans don't really like Graham Potter. I just think there's just a weird thing going on at that club. I don't know why. They've kind of been in a cycle. I've listened to some West Ham fans talk about this, where they went for they had your Brexit manager, your Moyes, who'd got them actual results, but you get a bit sick of his football. They've gone for a more sexy manager. Now, I don't think Graham Potter's a sexy manager.
I don't rate Graham Potter
just
at
don't rate
all as a
him either.
manager. I thought he was exposed when he went to Chelsea. He hasn't got a clue what he's doing. And I think Brighton, he got made to look very good at Brighton because of Brighton's very good recruitment strategy and the
Yeah.
board. As we've seen, Brighton is still doing good now. So people thought, oh, it was all Graham Potter. It wasn't. It wasn't
Yeah.
Potter's magic. It was Brighton's magic.
He had a bit of
the owners and the
Östersund's kind of
recruitment.
aura farming. He did some farming in Sweden or where was that? And I think people thought he's kind of an unconventional career. He's gone to Brighton, which was like the woke, sexy club. Like not sexy, but they play like the smart football, the money ball stuff, and they thought that kind of lumped him in with that, like you're saying. I just don't really rate him. I also just think West Ham like losing like Kudus. Bowen's amazing. I mean, maybe 17th is really hard, but someone's got to go. Someone's.
No,
someone's
I think
gotta
I think that's fair enough. I think that's fair enough.
I just don't rate West Ham, and they've just sorry. Right, next Brentford. 16th.
Yeah, I mean that one's kind of obvious. I mean they've lost a lot of key players in the squad. Norgard and Mbumo. How do you say Mbumo? I used to say Mbumo, but people start saying Mbumo now.
I'm hearing a lot of Mbumo.
What is all that about?
Don't know.
Is that just the boomers saying
Are you
Mbumo?
Mbumo or are you Mbumo?
I'm in Mbumo.
I was in
personally.
Mbumo.
I was
but
until
now I
keep
think maybe I'm
hearing
in
it.
Mbumo.
Anyway, we're going to have a lot of butchered pronunciations again.
Yeah,
which
sorry.
That's what I look forward to. I heard Ekatike. What did I hear?
Ekatike.
No, I heard someone say on Talksport the other day it was really bad. Ekatike. They said Ekatike.
Was
or
it
something
Abi
like that.
Gabby Bungalow?
It was
or
really
his name
bad.
was.
No, it wasn't. But it was bad. It was Ali McCoist or something.
Yeah.
Or Robbie Fowler. But anyway, yeah, I think that's probably about right for
Yeah.
Brentford. I think they're going to struggle without those players.
And Norgard, the club captain. Did you say Norgard already?
yeah,
maybe.
famously signed for Arsenal.
So I don't know. I just think they'll struggle. I just think they've just got they've got a lot to with a new manager as well, losing Thomas Frank, who I really rate. And we'll get onto him. Yeah,
He's a fantastic manager.
I just don't. I think it'll be really hard. Okay, next. But I do think that it's not. I just think they'll be fine. I don't know. I don't think they'll go down. Next, I've got Wolves. Now, Wolves are a turd that you can't flush. So many seasons, I've been like, Wolves are going down. Wolves are going down. Now it's Wolves time. And I just think Wolves just find a way. And I just think with their recruitment strategy, and also just they were building something at the end of last season. They were once they got rid of Gary. I don't know. I just think they'll be alright.
We once thought that about Burnley though. We never thought they would go down.
Yeah, but he had to come. He had to fall down eventually.
And it happened. So we won't fall down. And every single season,
Yeah.
someone's like, I think it's happened that many seasons now where people have predicted Wolves to go down that we can't doubt them anymore. Like they are just de facto staying up.
I don't know. I just think they will. I'd like to say they did go down, nothing against Wolves, but they've just not been. It's just not been fun to watch them. I also think that they're just annoying to play against.
They've
Sometimes
lost a lot of good players though. Neto and now Cunha going to United as well.
They'll struggle.
They tend to lose. They have a couple of good seasons, and then their players get poached.
So
And
you're
that's like
saying
any
they'll
club.
be further down, or they could go.
I don't know.
Right.
That's my.
It's hard with these clubs at the bottom. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
it could
sorry
go,
guys,
yeah.
but it's literally just like you could
It's
pick them
hard,
out of a hat.
Anyway, next. People are bored.
Right, Bournemouth. No, sorry, what? I've gone wrong here. No, yeah, Bournemouth.
Bournemouth.
Yeah,
that's
Bournemouth.
low. That's very low for Bournemouth.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
kind of a mad prediction.
It is a bit mad, but I also just think they've lost a lot of players again. I just think they'll have a bit of a shitter, that's all. I don't know why. I just thought they will.
All right,
I think the coach is good, but I think if you look at
that is not my opinion.
no, so you think they'll be higher up?
Yeah, I think they're.
Where do you think they'll be
I think
then?
they're a good side, Bournemouth. Where have you put them?
What's that? I put them 15th.
15th. Yeah, that's where I'd put them.
No, 14th.
Yeah, that's where I'd put them. 14th. Yeah.
That's what I did.
I'm joking.
Fucking hell. Right,
Nah,
next.
I
Or did
go
I skip one?
I go 12th. I go 12th.
Yeah, no, I've not skipped one. Yeah.
God,
You
this
go
is
12th.
shit. Hurry up.
All right, 13th, Everton.
Yeah, I mean, bombshell news about selling, Jack Grealish. What do you think about that?
I think Grealish could flop, or he'll either flop or he'll be really good. I think Beto's all right. I think, is it Gay? He's good. Is it Gay?
You have to bet on David Moyes as a manager,
Yeah.
and with Jack Grealish and all those players that you've just mentioned there, I think, I think
It's
they could break,
Undai.
they
It's
could, they could break
what's his
into the top
name?
10. I'm not even joking. Everton could do really well. I like David Moyes as a manager. I think he's really good.
He's good. Yeah. So yeah, I'm saying Everton. Then I chucked Fulham in.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just always around 12th, aren't they?
Yeah.
Then Forest, I think they'll fall off quite a lot.
Where have you got Forest?
11th.
Oh, Will won't be happy about that.
Well, what do you
think
reckon?
Forest are going to fall off that massively?
Yeah.
Because I look at Forest, and the way I see it is, the only way I can see them falling off, I understand why you've got have them falling off, but I don't see them falling off to that extent.
Okay.
It depends how much they focus on Europe.
Yeah.
And all this is obviously dependables, but if they make it past the group stage in Europe, they're going to struggle.
Yeah.
If they get knocked out of the group stage in Europe, I can see them being, 8.
Yeah. Well, I think with Europe, and then also the fact that I think every other club around that area is strengthened, and I just don't think Forest. I think Forest are actually a little bit weaker.
I don't know. I think the boost they'll get from keeping Morgan Gibbs White. I think Alanga's a good signing. I think they're going to finish.
Well, no,
in the top
they've
10.
lost Alanga.
Sorry. Who this?
They haven't signed anyone.
Sorry, my bad.
They've signed who did they sign? We don't even know. Don't listen to these predictions.
Alanga signed to Newcastle. My bad. It's been a long
Exactly.
day at work.
It's fine.
But
they've lost Alanga.
I thought they were right. If they lost Morgan Gibbs White, that's when I was going to be like, oh shit. But they've kept him. I think they'll do all right.
Basically, I just think they really overperformed last season. I don't think Wood will sustain that form. I think they'll just fall off a bit. And I still think like Forest at mid-table.
They've signed Jesus though, and we know what
bad.
happens when you sign Jesus.
True. Good things happen until he gets injured. 10th Crystal Palace just seems right. Bit of Europe. I think they're quite good, but I think Glasner's more of like a
Conference League.
But Glasner's more of a cup manager. I do think they'll do really well in the Conference League. They might win it.
Yeah, they could win it.
They could win it.
All right.
Move on from them.
If they lose, caveat to Crystal Palace, if they lose Eze before the end of the window, that's massive.
I don't see it.
That's
I don't know.
massive.
Or Gay as
linked
well.
with Spurs and Gay as well. So that's two. It hinges on a lot. This prediction hinges on a lot.
If those two go, they could drop quite heavily.
They're drop below the top 10 easily.
Okay, it gets more exciting now. I've got Tottenham in 9th. I think with Maddison's ACL, I think with the. I just think adapting. I think Frank, it'd just be really interesting. I just think there's too many unknowns because Frank kind of played like pragmatic, kind of like defensive football. Really organised, really structured at Brentford, and then he's gone to Spurs, which Ange played the opposite. He was just playing like utter kamikaze football. I just think it would take a while for the players to adapt. I don't really rate the squad that highly.
I don't know where the goals are coming from.
I don't think they have that much depth.
They don't.
We've seen the troubles at the back last season when they lost the centre backs. They don't have that much depth.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't think people are putting Spurs in the top 6. I don't think they made the top 6.
I just think as well,
I think Villa are better than Spurs.
Yeah, Richarlison's crap. I'm sorry.
He is crap.
I don't really rate. I don't even rate. They've lost Son. I think just as a character. I mean, he kind of fell off anyway. He was a bit washed.
Yeah.
I don't rate.
Yeah, I agree. They haven't got enough. They haven't got enough up top,
them.
And defensively, I think Thomas Frank will do a really good job.
Yeah.
And I think they'll win a lot of games, and they'll win some big games. I think that my prediction for Spurs is they're still going to be like the Tottenham
Giant
that we know and
Slayers.
love, as in Giant Slayers. I think they'll get a draw against us, or they'll beat.
They'll be annoying to play against.
They'll be annoying to play against.
But I just don't think they'll have enough against like
smaller
organised teams.
They're going to be set piece FC. I think they'll do okay. But yeah, I agree. I don't see them breaking into that top.
They've got some good players. I think maybe next season, the season after this, they could be really good, and I think Frank will get them like going. But I just don't see it this season. Don't know why. I just think other teams are better.
Who's finishing 7th?
Well, who's finishing 8th?
I thought Spurs were 8th.
No,
eighth.
Spurs are 9th. We've got United 8th.
Yeah, I actually think that Spurs will finish higher than United.
Right. What's that based on?
Amorim. I don't think he's a good manager. And I know he hasn't had the players, etc. But I'm sorry.
I don't agree.
Arteta took over, and I'm sorry to bring it back to Arsenal, but we've seen this with other managers too. They took over absolute messes of squads. Sean Dyche, loads, even Moyes, and got them playing decent football and picking up points. And I know United have got a lot of crap, but they were better than. I mean, where he had them in the league last year and the football they were playing, it was dross. And I can't see it improving just because they've signed Mbumo and Cunha. Yeah, that's great, but we've seen time and time again that you sign all these players. You've got Cavani, they had Falcao, Ibrahimovic. It doesn't mean you're going to challenge for the Champions League
just to confirm, I'm putting them 8th.
Yeah,
I'm not
but that's
exactly.
I can't. They finished seventh. They were terrible.
I just think they will score goals. I think Mbomo will be good. I think Cunha's. I really rate Cunha. I was kind of gutted when he went there, but they're kind of irrelevant right now. Sesko is good. I think he is good. I think the midfield
What
is a
depth
real.
have they got though?
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
if Cunha or where everyone's Man United fans
Well,
getting
they've
so
got Ahmad.
excited. But they're
Ahmad's
getting
good.
so excited.
Ahmad's a really good player.
They're getting so excited.
Hoyland, he's got. There's a
He's
player in
trash.
Hoyland.
He's
No,
bad.
there's a player in there.
No, he's not.
My problem with United is the defence. I think when Martinez comes back, they'll be better. But I think
Bad.
if you still play him with Maguire,
And I'm sorry, this back three it's not worked since Conte. I'm sorry, I just don't think a back five works in the back three works in the Prem. I think they're going to get exposed and they're going to be crap.
Okay.
And I think Amorim's
So
going to
you're
get
saying
sacked.
9th instead of 8th, just to check.
I don't think they're going to make top 10.
Okay. Fair enough.
And I think everyone had questions about Sesko working at Arsenal, a complete team that might challenge for the title. What's to say he's going to work at United? 22. You know, he scored about 14 goals last year or something in the Bundesliga. He could be completely crap.
He could be crap. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, moving on. Let's move on from United because I just think there'll be more interest in this season, and I do think
They'll definitely be better.
They had a real problem at scoring goals, and I think they will score goals. I think they'll go from losing 2-0 to drawing 2-2. Someone said that, and it sounded good.
That's why
Someone else has said it, so I'll
that's
copy
why
that
they're not going to
opinion.
make the top 10 in my opinion.
Right. Next, Aston Villa 7th.
Yeah. I genuinely can't believe you've got Newcastle higher than Aston Villa after what's happened. That's mental.
I think I've got Newcastle higher than Aston Villa because I think Newcastle are just really well drilled. I think they're horrible to play against. I think
But
their
so are
midfield
Villa.
is brilliant. No, but I think that with Villa, they could lose Watkins maybe to Newcastle. I also think that their midfield, I just think, like, as a squad, they, like, perform really well over the last few seasons, but I just think they haven't really made any. I'm not convinced with
It's
their
gonna go one of
signings.
two ways.
I'm just not convinced.
Their squad is going to be demoralised at where the club's going because of this Isak thing, or it's going to rejuvenate the squad.
What, you
and
talking about
think-
Newcastle now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to rejuvenate the squad, and they're going to go, we don't need Isak. He's a knobhead. We're going to show him that we don't need him.
Yeah.
Which they do need him. Let's be clear. But it could work one or two ways with Newcastle, and I think it's going to work the opposite way, where I think that a lot of the players are going to lose belief in the club, in the board. I just don't think it's going to be a very good season for them, and they've got Champions League to deal with, so I can't see a way in which Newcastle finish above Villa. I really can't.
Well, I'm putting Brighton above Aston Villa as well. I'm putting Brighton 6th. Absolute woke football, and I just
Why?
they're just good. They've been good for the last
They
few
are good, to be
seasons.
fair.
Their players are brilliant. They've kept Matoma. They make good signings.
They're one of those clubs where
and
you
they're
don't pay
just
attention
good.
to Brighton.
Yeah, you don't.
Then you look at the table at the end of the season,
Like,
and you
what?
go, they're 7th.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
And
agree.
obviously they're not in Europe compared to those clubs that they were fighting
Yeah,
with
yeah.
last season. They're in Europe.
Well, that's what I mean.
They're
With
not in
with
Europe.
with Villa not really having a great window, Newcastle not having a great window.
There's room.
I know United and Spurs. There's room for them to really.
Yeah.
If they get a flow and they get momentum, there's room for them.
Obviously
to,
they lost
to get-
Pedro, so there will be adaptation. I just rate them.
Yeah,
they're just annoyingly good, aren't they, Brighton? They're
Yeah.
just there. I mean, they've had so many changes. They've had a few different managers, and they're consistently good. So I just don't know.
Alright, who's 5th for you?
I also think United and Tottenham and that are just crap. 5th for Newcastle, and I know that's a bit mental, but I still think they've got. I don't think you have to panic. If I'm a Newcastle fan, don't panic. I think you've got a brilliant midfield. Yeah, obviously losing Isak if you do, or when you do.
Their starting
hard,
11
but-
is class, but you've lost Isak, so that's where the goals have come from, right? You've lost a lot of goals there, and a couple of injuries here and there. Gordon gets injured, etc., and you completely fell off a cliff. I don't. If I'm looking at it in terms of like a football manager lens, I honestly don't see something's going to go seriously wrong this season with Newcastle.
I don't know. I rate Howe. I think he got
I rate
playing
him,
really
but how,
well.
I rate him massively, but if you get given enough shit, how? Because he's supposed to,
And I watched it's pre-season game. I watched it against us, and they were as physical. Isak wasn't playing. They can score goals. They are dangerous. They're horrible to play against. I just think it could be one. I do agree with your point, but it could be something that binds them together. And I think I don't know. They might
got-
also. There's more. There's still the window left.
I mean,
open,
who are they
so
getting in
could sign someone.
if they lose Isak? Who are they getting in?
They could
Because
get
I
Ollie
don't-
Watkins.
Villa is not going to let Ollie Watkins go.
They nearly
They
left
let-
him.
they
They
let-
nearly let him go to us.
They're not, because they've sold
think
Duran.
They've only
and
got, I think, if I'm correct,
He's
Ollie
not-
Watkins only got a year on his contract, hasn't he?
He's not going anywhere. They're going to keep him.
Anyway, right, let's move on. But I think, I don't know, Newcastle could be all right. 4th place, top 4 now.
This is big.
This is really big. I'm putting 4th place. I'm putting City.
Whoa, that's kind of mad. Why is that?
Okay, I'm putting City there for a couple of reasons. One, the main thing, and I think a lot of the analysis has been the Rodri effect and him coming back. I do think the news today he still had a little niggle, or he's also
out for the whole September.
Yeah. So, and I think when he does come back, and he did play a bit against Al Hilal, and he played a little bit. They just still looked. Their structure just seemed off. The balance right now, there's something off with City a bit. I think obviously things could change. I'm not saying that the top 4 is going to be so tight, so it could change. But I just think out of all the clubs, right, in terms of momentum, City's the one which has had the momentum kind of turn the wrong way. Now the signings, I think they made really good signings. They'll be exciting to watch, but I think I don't know. I just think they're still really vulnerable defensively, and I think unless Rodri comes back, it's a big if he comes back, and if he's as good as he was pre.
I think he will be as good as he was, because there was that whole debate with Van Dijk when he got injured. He's not the same. Took him about 2 months, and he was back to being world class. So I think he will be back to his best. I still don't think. I agree with you with City. I think. There's
something.
I think defensively, even with
off.
Rodri in the team, they still looked a bit off.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that Al Hilal conceding 4 goals to Al Hilal, and I know
they're actually decent.
People are saying, "Oh, it's pre-season." It's
even before that,
even 4 goals in a game to anyone, it's a lot of goals.
They were just shipping in
so
goals.
they're
at the
not
end of last
going to win the
season.
title. And for me, I do think Chelsea look better than them.
I also just think they've made good signings. I agree. Aitnor is good. Reinders looks good. Cherky looks good. I've rated Marmoush when he came in January. They've got good players. I don't dispute that, but I think also it's going to take a little bit of time to gel maybe, or get the right formation. I don't think Silva's as good as he was. I think Haaland's limited. He's a brilliant player, and he's going to get him goals, but there's limited in what he can do.
He's limited to the
system.
system.
If he gets an injury, then that also changes things. So I just think City 4th.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you there.
Yeah, and this is because I'm putting Chelsea 3rd, and I don't want to put Chelsea 3rd because I'm sick of hearing about how they're going to be good. I
think they are going to be good, though.
But I think they will be good. But I just don't think they're going to be as good as Liverpool
and Arsenal.
They've
They've got a very good squad. The manager seems decent. I was shocked how well they did last season, because I thought they were going to be crap, and they were very good. And I watched Cole Palmer against the PSG, and he gave up towards the end of last season, but you can tell that he's going to come back, and he's a really good player.
Yeah.
So I just think the talent they've got on the pitch, and they remind me of Arsenal when we signed Jesus Zinchenko, that 2021-22 season, I think it was the next one. But anyway, yeah, they look really good, and I think they'll carry some momentum forward. But yeah, I don't think they're going to challenge for the league.
I just think the defence is a bit suspect. The keeper I don't rate, and they obviously just lost Colwell. If they sign a defender, maybe. I also think that there's something about this squad that, in my view,
the goalkeeper's
crap. But also in my view of football, maybe it works, and maybe the mentality of having a squad in which it's like an academy and they're all desperate to do well, because they've signed so many players. So it must be like, like when you're in trials and every kid's trying to do the best. It must be like that in their dressing room. Maybe that does work, but I think that team cohesion, players must be pissed off at that club. But maybe it works, and I think. I mean, at the end of the day, good players win games.
They're at the start of their project. They've got out the Todd Bowley banter era, and they're on the rise. Yeah. But I think they're not quite there yet. They won't have the consistency to mount a title challenge, similar to last season where they fell off a bit. I think that's going to happen, and I think they'll burn out because. And another thing about City and Chelsea, they played a lot of games during the summer.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to take a bit of a toll. You won't think about it now. But when we're going to get into the title charge, you're going to look back to when they played all those games at the Club World Cup and think that's hurt them. That has.
I think Chelsea will be, if not top at Christmas, really close. And I just think by the end of the season they'll drop off a bit. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think by Christmas we're going to be like, oh my God, who's going to win the league? We're not going to have a clue. But then I think someone's going to really kick in and
hopefully
dominate
it's
it.
Arsenal.
And Yeah.
Okay, second and first. Second, I've gone Liverpool. And mostly it's just bias. I'll admit. I mean, it's two things. One, it's.
Personally, I think
Yeah, I'll let you
looking at
talk.
it from a non-biased standpoint, I think you can flip a coin. Really, you can say the top four. I've definitely
be
between
anything.
City, Liverpool, and Arsenal, but definitely between Arsenal and Liverpool, I think they're most people's 1 and 2. Just because of the consistency that Arsenal have showed over the past few seasons, you can't argue with the fact we will get at least 80 points. That's a fact. We've been doing that for quite a few years now.
Well,
It's whether we can get over the line. And you look at the signings, you look at Zubimendi, you look at Gyökeres. I think there's question marks. The question mark of Liverpool is, if they get Isak, how quickly can that team gel with the 2 new fullbacks? Basically a new look team. Our team is the same team that got us 80 points, 75 points last season, but let's be honest, we had injuries, so 80 points, I would say. But we've added at least 15 goals with Gyökeres. So the question is, which one is going to work? Are they going to gel quicker, and is the all-out attack going to work for Liverpool, or is our defensive solidity going to carry us towards the title? It's defence versus attack, essentially. And I know they have Van Dijk and Konate and Gomez, but they're made out of glass.
Two things that I said this last season, and I still stand by it. With Liverpool, they did play fantastic football, and they did win the title fairly last season. I think they were the best team in the Prem. I just think if there's, and this is a big if, ultimately, I think we're slightly better covered than them. But if there's an injury to someone like Van Dijk, genuinely, where is the depth there?
We got really unlucky last season, and people are saying, "Oh, you fell off." If it wasn't for our injuries, I mean, Havertz, Marino, Saka, Ødegaard, we would have finished on at least 80 points. We would have been a lot closer to Liverpool.
It would have been closer.
It would have been
a
lot closer, and I think we haven't fell off. We just had an unlucky season.
I do think that we. So Gary Neville said that we fell off.
We haven't.
I think it was harder to know because of what we would say bullshit officiating and also the injuries.
It was bad officiating, yeah.
But I would also say we did fall off a little bit. I don't think we played, and maybe it was because the injuries stagnated.
I think we fell off because let's be honest, you're a player, you're looking around and you're going, everyone's injured.
No, right, but Ødegaard wasn't as good. Our midfield was a bit static. It wasn't quite right.
I think we realised
we were too reliant on Saka.
We realised halfway through the season that this ain't happening this year, and we focused on the Champions League, and we didn't. PSG were phenomenal. If it weren't for PSG, probably could have won it. So
anyway,
I just think, I think we've got enough this year to do it.
The point I'm trying to make though is that the problems that were there, if you're being really harsh on us last season, the problem that was there, the striker and the lack of kind of dynamism in midfield, we were a bit static. It was horseshoe. I think we've solved with Gyökeres and Zubimendi, and I can't speak highly enough of Zubimendi. I think he'll be brilliant. So I think we'll surprise a few people. I think Zubimendi will take a lot of the burden off Ødegaard, and I think he'll hopefully get back to his best. I think if he does, if Gyökeres fires, if Saka does, and then you've got that mix with Madueke and Martinelli, and I think Madueke will surprise some people too. I think we could be firing.
The issue with
Arsenal,
I think
we've got a really strong spine.
There's a lot of ifs and buts, whereas with Liverpool, if they get Salah and Isak, there's no ifs and buts because you know them two are going to score goals. You don't know if Saka and Gyökeres.
I know Saka's going to score goals.
You know.
He was on
10.
track for a phenomenal season
Yeah,
until he got injured. Let's be honest, he was on 10 goals, 10 assists just over Christmas. He was on track for a really brilliant season, and he got unlucky.
But anyway, that's our Premier League.
He was over 10 assists, not 10 goals.
That's our Premier League predictions.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed them.
Probably not.
And I think we are going to do it this year.
All right.
So now we're going to go on to the Arsenal section of the podcast. So for all of you that obviously don't like Arsenal, see you later, and tune in next week when we do the first half of the episode about what's going on in the league. But the second half will be focused on Arsenal for all you Arsenal gooners.
Yeah.
Fanboys.
For all the gooners out there.
So let's get into it then. What do you think, firstly, of the pre-season and the signings that we've made leading into the Premier League season this year?
So, obviously, let's start with Gyökeres. I did not think that we were going to get Gyökeres at all. I was convinced that we were going to get Sesko, because I just didn't think that Gyökeres was an Arteta signing, if that makes sense. He just doesn't seem like an Arteta character. He doesn't really seem like an Arteta footballer. He's a bit he's a bit of a maverick on the pitch. I think he's also a bit of a. Seems like he has a bit of an ego. Like I'm not how he comes across, but on the pitch he has an arrogance. His celebration, it's a bit flashy. It's a bit Aubameyang-esque in the sense of like he likes being the talisman. Didn't strike me as an Arteta figure, but that's why I like it, because I think Arteta needs. I think we really don't know who's an Arteta signing. You hear Arteta signing a lot. We don't have a clue.
Sterling.
Maybe. But it also could have been Edu. We don't know as well. But I think Berta must, and from what reporters have said, Berta's had a huge influence on the Gyökeres signing, I think. And I just like how I think he's got bollocks.
I agree. The thing that worries me with Arteta is talent ID is very questionable. For example, I believe in my heart of hearts that Gyökeres is a Berta signing forced through market factors because Sesko was too high priced and Nizic didn't want to move to Arsenal. And I believe that Madueke was an Arteta signing because, let's be honest, the players we could have got instead of Madueke, Eze, Xavi Simons, Leao, we could have put a bid in for Rodrigo. There's loads of players. Even Cunha, all those players we could have.
Mbeumo.
We chose Madueke. Arteta was like, I want Madueke, which is mental. I was really against the whole campaign thing about Madueke. I thought that was ridiculous. But also, at the same time, I was kind of frustrated because it's not a marquee signing. But I think people these days have this, and they always have this thing about it has to be a name. It has to be a name. But if you look at the actual stats, and if you look at the facts of Madueke as a signing, England international, 11 goals last year for Chelsea, 22, fast, direct. Rodrigo and all these names, it's just a name at the end of the day. It's because they play for Real Madrid. That's why you get excited. But what is the difference? What would be the actual difference in terms of the output? I'm not too sure.
I mean, Madueke's got the Premier League proven kind of badge. He was, as much as Chelsea fans say they
Chelsea's
don't
best
rate
player
him.
last year.
He was amongst the best players, and he was also, in terms of like directness, the stats show that runs into the box, carries and stuff like that, your shots. He was really direct. I think that's something that we've lacked a bit on the left.
And to be fair, I watched him just touch on the pre-season games. We were good in a couple, but very bad. But we were all waiting, weren't we, for that midfield three to start with Gyökeres and with Madueke. So we actually got to see Gyökeres as a striker, Madueke on the left, Saka on the right, with that starting midfield three, and it looked good.
Yeah, it did look good. It looked good. I just think, going back to Madueke quickly, two things. One, I just thought it was a bit of a miss because I just thought I knew that the reaction was going to be what it was. I think everyone knew what it was going to be. We're sick of signing Chelsea players. We're sick of giving them money. Yeah. I just thought, as a club, you had to see that, and we've not. But fair enough. Two, it wasn't a name. Yeah, maybe you are right. It wasn't a name that I was particularly excited about. But listen, at the end of the day, I'd love nothing more for him to be a success at Arsenal and rub in Chelsea wounds. And I think it's an opportunity for him to kind of prove people wrong. And I think he'll be good. So now I got over it, and I've kind of looked at it more like analytically rather than just, he's a Chelsea player. I think he'll be good, but obviously it wasn't the sexiest signing.
Like I say, if Madueke had that season for Brighton last year and we signed him,
or Newcastle,
would there be the same reaction or Newcastle?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I think it's because he's a Chelsea player,
and
that's fair enough. And it's the same with Kepa as well.
Kepa, decent backup.
I think Zubimendi is generational, and I think he's going to be we're going to look back and he's going to be one of the greats. Like I think he's a very good player.
Bloody hell, you've gone early.
No, I just think he's an exceptional player.
No, I think he's great, yeah.
And I think, on Match of the Day, every time we watch Match of the Day and they analyse Arsenal, he's going to be highlighted so many times.
Yeah, it's going to be one of them. Either
he's a Rodri level signing for us. It really is. He's transformative. He's a brilliant player.
I just don't see him being bad, put it that way. I think he'll just be good. And also, I think, like we were saying, he just does so many exciting things for like Rice and Ødegaard. I think Rice in that double pivot, he can do different things now. He just brings another level, and it frees up Ødegaard because so many times I saw Ødegaard so deep trying to help with build-up play, trying to recycle possession, things like that. And I just thought, now if we keep Ødegaard in those more central areas, I think it'll free him up to do what he does best, the little dink passes, the vision, and all that stuff. So I'm excited to see them midfield. I think it's the best in the league.
With Ødegaard, it's so funny because it's going to take him a while to get used to staying in that
Up there.
10 position because he's got PTSD from last season and previous seasons where I think he felt he had to come back to do that because there
But-
wasn't anyone who could.
Just quickly on that, I think if he does come back, Zubmendi can go, Rice can go, and I think they've
Exactly,
all
yeah.
got the quality. We saw it in the preseason. That ball into Gyökeres that Zubmendi did. He's got so many, and I've seen him play for Spain. He can score a goal. There's so many levels to his game.
All I'm saying is
Yeah.
it's an upgrade
I'm excited.
It's an upgrade on Partey, which
Yeah.
is mad because for a lot of the seasons, people are like, you can't upgrade on Partey. He's the dog's bollocks. We have. He's better than Partey, and I think that's massive for us.
I think he's probably, top 5 midfielder in the world, Zubmendi. So the fact that we've got him is amazing. Who else? Mosquera. I've been really impressed.
Really impressed with
Yeah,
Mosquera. I think
looks
he'll be
good.
a very good backup. I think he reminds me of Gabriel when he first signed. Very raw. He'll make a lot of mistakes. I think he'll give the ball away. It will give us some heart attacks, but I don't think he's going to get a lot of minutes in the Premier League this season. It'll be unless we have to play him. It'll be cups, and I
Yeah.
think Keywar will start over him as well. Ben White can fill in and Calafiori. So he won't get loads of minutes, but I think he's one for the future.
I think
he's really
also
talented.
there's, keep an eye on that defence because we've got a lot of defenders still, and I think maybe we could have some movement in the transfer market. Like some could go, like Kivior, maybe there were some links, but we'll see. I think we've got good depth there, and I'm excited to see Mosquera. I think he's a good signing for the future. And Nordgaard looks,
He looks solid. I don't think he's going to be.
and he's a good character.
He's a good
Good
squad.
character.
He's a good
Great
squad player.
character.
But I don't think he contributes much in terms of progressing the ball or any creativity. He's just a very good squad player.
Yeah, it'd be great.
It's solid.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, and it's good. Max Dowman, we've got to mention him. He featured a lot in pre-season. I'm wondering if he's going to be in the Premier League squad because it looks that way. He started him every single game in the. Well, he's had minutes for every single game in pre-season.
I feel like he didn't just have minutes. When he did have minutes, he made an impact every single time. And I think a few people have made this point, but genuinely, like when you look at from what we've seen, if we're
Messi.
well, maybe, but if we're away and there's kind of a bit of like a deep block or something, if you just need a sprinkling of magic for the last 15-20 minutes, I don't think there'd be a better player to bring on other than Nwaneri potentially. But Max Dowman looks unbelievable. He's got tricky feet, kind of player that we need in these like really tight spaces that we play in. So I think he looks class.
And listen, I love, for any Arsenal fan watching this, if you made it this far, I love Arsenal Football Club, but I know our football club, and please, we're not going to sign anyone else. We're just not.
No.
Right? Because if you think about it, we gave Nwaneri a new deal. We've got Max Dowman coming through. There's a reason Arteta has played Nwaneri and Dowman so much in pre-season. It's not fitness. We're not signing anyone else. I can tell you that right now. I'd be shocked to my core if we made another signing. Another attacking signing anyway.
Unless we made it a sale, but we don't sell players.
No.
And we don't sell them for any money.
Please just accept the reality that Madueke is the left winger for us. Unless Martinelli has a rejuvenation. And if Saka gets injured, Madueke will move over to that right-hand side and we'll play Trossard on Martinelli on the left. And Nwaneri will get minutes in the 10 and Darwin will come on off the bench, like you say, in games like...
Oh, wait, and you know what? We've got players like... We can change the structure as well. I think with Havertz, we could... Who knows? Two up top.
he's going to...
lump them up. Play false
Havertz
nine,
for me is a striker now. I don't think Arteta's going to play him in the midfield ever again.
I also have to say, shout out, obviously Dalman's took a bit of the shine. He's kind of like the new toy, let's say. But like, Nwaneri's still looked pretty good. And also, he's now come more centrally. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens.
And again, people get swept up in names, Arsenal fans. Oh, we're not going to sign Eze. You were all raving about Nwaneri last season. Give him minutes. He needs to start over Ødegaard. He's better than Ødegaard. Now, if we sign Eze, he's not getting any minutes. Forget about it. So
once again,
what is this flip-floppy...
If Nwaneri had this breakout season that he had last season at a club like Brighton, and we signed him for 35 million, and you'd be a lot more excited. Do you know what I mean? I think because he's already in the ranks, and because also towards the end of the season, I feel like I don't think he was used as much. His performances weren't on... They dropped a little bit, but that's to be expected. I think it took a bit of the shine on how good he was. So I think I don't know. I think it'll be
I
good.
think the
he'll
verdict's
be
still out on
a key
Nwaneri. I
player.
think he's got so much potential and he's scored some really good goals. But
He's
I
got
think
unbelievable
consistency is the one thing where Saka had that from the get-go. Every single game he was consistent. So, and I think Nwaneri so far he's had some really good games and some not so good games. So,
Well, I think that's
Well,
harsh, but
no,
yeah.
but it's just experience and the age thing, and I think his position's harder. I know he was
Yeah,
he's
it
naturally
is.
a cam. Saka was naturally a right wing that played right wing back, and it's a natural progression where it will be harder for Nwaneri to.
Well, let's not forget that. I mean, I have literally forgotten until you said that Saka started as a wing back.
Exactly.
It takes time to
It takes so
really
much
know.
time.
So
Whereas this is why I think Dalman's going to be generational, because remember Charlie Patino, or that
yeah,
he's got he commented on Max Dalman and said the fact that he's 15 and he's playing in pre-season friendlies
and
with
also
Arsenal.
looked class.
It's like mind-blowingly good. Like, we haven't seen this in years. Like, it's genuinely like, and I'm not saying he is going to be like Lamine Yamal, but if he carries it on and he starts making appearances in the Premier, it is a Lamine Yamal type situation. Because I know for other fans listening to this, you might think he's chatting out of bollocks. You're just getting excited, but honestly, he looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
he
good.
looks like, I know it's crazy to say, he's not obviously he's not going to be as good as Messi, but he looks like Messi, the way he carries the ball, the way he can just glide past players like they're nothing. He won 2 penalties. He played 3 games, I think, for us and won 2 penalties.
Yeah, he
There's
looks
no
good.
coincidence.
But as he grows into like a man, let's say he's literally 15, his body will change and things like that. So, it things might change, and he might change as a player. He might gain weight. He might lose. Do you know what I mean?
But you don't lose that raw.
Well, no,
flair that he's
obviously
got.
not. But we saw kind of Emile Smith Rowe have kind of issues coming up.
I tell you what, he's 15 years old, mate. That's crazy. That's
No, I know.
crazy.
I understand that.
I mean,
I just
honestly,
think let's chill out on the hype a little bit.
nah, mate. I'm all in on this kid.
All right.
I've never seen anything like it.
He's
in my
going
life.
to the very top.
He's going to the very. Let me tell you now, this kid is going to the very. I wasn't going to say this. I wasn't going to say this on this podcast today, but this kid is going to the very top.
Right. So that was transfers / Max Dalman. Let's just talk about overall kind of feelings about the season. What do you expect, and also
So
what's your target?
We've
basically?
had a massive debate about this, and a lot of Arsenal fans are, because always the bridesmaid, never the bride. A lot of Arsenal fans are getting frustrated. They're not trusting the process. They think we need to win a trophy this season. I'm not talking about Carabao Cup. I'm talking about a major trophy. What is your opinion on? I know you literally just asked me this season. I'll say my opinion first, actually, because you just asked me this question. My opinion is: do we need to win a major trophy? In the grand scheme of things, if you look at it, in the next 5, if you actually think about it, be reasonable, no, we don't. Is the opinion of most fans and in your head when you think in short term, do we need to win a major trophy? Yes.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, worst comes to worst, if we didn't win the Premier or the Champions League next season, but my thing is we need to challenge. We need to get 85, 90 points, minimum 85 points. And we need to make it again to the semis of the Champions League. If those two things don't happen, then I'll start to question Arteta. But if we do that again and we miss out due to luck, referee indecisions, just a team's just better than us, that's fine.
I think it's all just context. A lot of it's like the eye test as well. Like, if it feels good, if I feel like, we just come up short and things like that. But I think I struggle with it. I think there's 2 things. What you're saying is true. Why does it have to be this season? I agree. Why is it always this season? People say, they have to do it this season. They have to do it eventually. If not, then... Because I do think with the signings we've made, with the squad we still have a pretty young squad. We have a lot of good talent. I don't think we have to do it this season, in theory. There are 2 things, though, that I think... one, the weight of the narrative in the media and amongst stands is so big that I don't know if Arteta... and the good vibe around Arteta and people rating Arteta can last.
But the players, it's all noise. All that matters is what happens on the pitch and what's happening in the dressing room. And in my opinion, I don't think any player that plays for Arsenal right now who is signed has got any doubt that Arteta is the manager to take them forward. And they think this season, they're looking around at their teammates, they're looking around at the rest of the league, and they're thinking, we can win this. We can win everything.
Well,
I think that's what they're thinking.
Let me just interject. That which is my second point. at some point, as we've seen with Isak, as we've seen with a lot of players in Arsenal in our recent history, at some point players get itchy feet and they want to start winning. And I look at a generational talent like Saliba. I look at players like, I don't think Odegaard would, but you never think someone will. I don't think Newcastle thought when they'd won the Carabao Cup that Isak in this month's time would force a move. Saka, for example, I don't think he'd ever do it. I'd never want to think he'd do it. But he wanted to win trophies in his career. At some point, that will start to play on people's minds, players' minds, and people will start to think. You always say, "Oh, well, they'll all trust in Arteta." At some point, that trust does have its limits. I just think we need to show progression.
Just look at the players and the contract that they're on. Saka's homegrown; he won't leave. He just won't leave, in my opinion, because we're a massive club and we always will be. Even though we don't win trophies, I think he'll stay. Gabriel's just signed a long-term contract. The only one Rice, he loves the club. The only one I'm concerned about is Saliba. And I think the club's already taken precautions for that. Because I think no matter even if we win a trophy or not, I think he's going to go.
Yeah. But I just think going back to the media narrative point, it's just massive and it really counts. It genuinely, I think pundits and people like us who are experts have such a massive say nowadays in terms of like people want clicks, people want stuff like that. And I think it does kind of seep in. It does. There's no way that dressing rooms, with the access to social media and stuff like that, and the media on TV, we've seen James Maddison interact with like Roy Keane and like how they interact. People listen to this stuff, and eventually the weight is so great that I just think and also just on a footballing perspective, there aren't many other clubs that really successful clubs, massive clubs that allow a manager to not kind of win a trophy. You'd have these kind of, do you know what I mean? As in, if you look at Chelsea's model, and I never want to be like Chelsea, but ultimately they have a requirement at the start of the season. If you don't meet that, they will just get rid of you. I love Arteta.
I don't agree. I think football's changed now.
Okay.
And I think a lot of clubs would die at the minute to have a manager like Arteta
No, I agree.
stayed for that amount of time, because I think it's all well and good keep chopping, changing managers, but I think the consistency that we've built, I think is fantastic.
But there are counterpoints out there. You looked at, and a lot of people did, kind of lazy analysis with Liverpool. They lost Klopp, and people thought, well, they're finished.
It's over.
Slot comes in, bang, league. It can
True.
happen.
It can
and
happen.
I just think Arsenal fans, I love like what Arteta's built. I love the feeling. I never felt better watching football than I did for that 22 season.
But just in
it was
my
amazing.
opinion, with the credibility...
But just let me finish.
Yeah.
I would just say that at some point, though, that goodwill that we have for Arteta, we've seen it in the past, how people turned on Wenger, who literally built the modern club, let's say, who established where we are now and the invincible, the legacy we have, the recent legacy we have. People turn. People are fickle. So
but they won't turn on the ball. They won't turn on Arteta as a man and as a manager. They'll turn on.
They do turn on. They turn on managers.
But they turn on the board, because at the end of the day, the board, they make the decisions. If they are happy with mediocrity and they are happy with consistently finishing in the Champions League and not winning the trophy, they won't sack him. And that's just a fact that we're going to have to accept. But I think he's still challenging. If he challenges next year, he challenges for the Champions League and the Premier League. And let me add a caveat to this. We need to go deep in a cup run as well. We can't do this thing where we just focus on the Champions League and the Premier League. We need to go deep in a cup run. If those three things happen and we miss out, it's fine. Give them another season. But if we look shit again, if we look average, not shit, if we look average again, I do agree. I think it's probably
you just have to ask questions. I'm not saying you have to sack him, but you have to ask questions on where we are falling short, and if there's a mentality problem, where mentality problems come from. Is it the manager? Is it kind of the board?
Well, last year it was nothing. I think mentality-wise, we were excellent to cope with that.
Well, no, but we did fall short 2 seasons in a row before. You're just focusing on last season.
I don't think it's a mentality issue.
I think a lot of people outside Arsenal think it is.
I don't think it is.
And we'll see, won't we? At the end of the day, it's hard to have a winning mentality until you win. It's hard to build that until you actually prove it. I hope we do prove it. I think, but if within the next couple seasons, looking ahead, we don't win anything, then that question mark's just going to grow and grow and grow until the noise will be too big. So I just hope that we have some kind of... I just hope we look good. I hope there's a bit of feel-good factor about the season, just so we can, as a fan base, I rate Arteta. I think we've got what it takes, but I just think as a fan base, will we stay with him? I don't know.
Well, all will be revealed come the first 6 games of the season, really, because we've got a really hard run in. We play Liverpool, City, Newcastle, United on the first game of the season. So, yeah, all will be revealed after those 6 games. We'll have a good understanding of if we think we're gonna, win the title. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a really good season. And
do you reckon we have time for a quick predicted lineup for the United game?
If you want to do that, yeah.
I think we just run off it quick. Obviously Raya, back 4. I'm thinking Timber, Gabriel Saliba. Hopefully Gabriel can play because he played against Bilbao. I'd probably go with Calafiori just because I think Skelly's had a bit of.
I think they'll go with Skelly though.
Probably, yeah, but I'd go with Calafiori.
I agree. I think Calafiori is just more mature.
He's also just mental. He's exciting to watch.
Yeah,
so.
But I think I think Arteta's going to be quite cautious this game.
I don't know. And then obviously the midfield, I think that 3 picks itself. Zubimendi, Ødegaard, Rice, and then you've got. I think he'll start Martinelli. But I'd go Madueke, but I think he'll start Martinelli. Gyökeres, I think, will play, and then Saka.
Yeah, I'm gonna go against you here, and I think there's gonna be a meltdown, especially if we draw or lose the game. But I think he's gonna start Havertz.
I don't think he will. I don't think he will, just because Gyökeres scored, he's looked good, and I think you can always bring Havertz off the bench. Honestly, if he starts Havertz, I do just think, like, why have you done that? Because Gyökeres he's raring to go. You've just signed him. He's played. He's match fit. Play him. Play your players. I don't understand playing Havertz. If you've just signed a striker for 60 million, you clearly don't rate Havertz enough to have him as your starting striker. Do not start him.
Yeah.
Please.
Also, as well, there's this thing about people are going to say, oh well, Gyökeres hasn't had time to bed in, but Havertz has been injured for ages.
I'm sorry. He looked pretty bedded in when he scored that header the other day. It looks just
all that.
He played pretty well.
All that's bull crap. If you're good enough, you're good enough. Just you play. They train
together. If you signed Messi, you wouldn't go, he needs to bed in. You just play him. If he's good enough, play him. Play him, please. Do not. If he plays Havertz, I will be a bit annoyed.
I really have a gut feel. I think he's going to start Havertz, and I think it will be Havertz, Martinelli, Saka, and I think Gyökeres will. I think Gyökeres will eventually replace Havertz as the starting striker. But honestly, I think Arteta, when Gyökeres scored that header, Arteta had no emotion. You should have seen his face when Havertz ran through and scored that goal the other day. He was elated. I just think he loves the bloke.
I think there is some kind of sexual energy there. I don't know. I mean, Havertz looks good, to be fair.
He looked good, to be fair. Yeah, he did look good when he...
up.
I meant when he scored the goal.
Oh, sorry, I meant his looks.
But he does look good, to be fair. Who's got more aura at the minute? Gyökeres. Gyökeres probably just edges it slightly over Havertz. But I tell you what, Havertz is going to have some aura this season, bro. I'm telling you now, he looks good. And I think
we'll do an aura episode next. We'll have to do aura ratings next.
I think it's good that there is actually now very good competition in that striker position.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in all this nonsense about Havertz is going to play off Gyökeres. He's not.
So you agree you have to start Gyökeres?
For me,
yeah. Will you be annoyed?
For me, I'd be a bit annoyed, as in like, oh, Gyökeres is the new signing, but I think Havertz is good.
I do rate Havertz. I just don't get why would you spend that money on a striker who's literally played already, scored, looks like he's rearing to go. He's literally desperate, this bloke. He's a mentality monster, and he's shown that over the last few seasons. He wants to score goals. Play him on the open day. I think what he wants to do.
He'll be pissed off if he doesn't start.
It's annoying.
But
so don't do that. Please don't do that, Arteta.
Havertz is more expensive than Gyökeres, and he's on more money than Gyökeres. So, and he's been Arsenal's starting striker for an entire 2 seasons.
No. Just don't do that.
I know, but the thing is, I'm putting myself in. You not understand how Arteta works. This is not this is what Arteta's.
But this kind of shit is going to piss people off.
I know it is, but I'm telling you now.
Unless we win.
This is what.
If we win, then Arteta's a genius.
Thing is, if he starts Havertz and Havertz scores and we win, there'll be no conversation had. But people say, well, Gyökeres could have scored that goal, or Gyökeres would have scored that chance.
Right. Anyway.
You don't know, do you?
Anyway, we could argue about that all night. Score prediction?
I think Man United are going to be in for a shock. I think they'll come out all guns blazing. And I think the Arsenal's solidity and just consistency over the last few seasons, I think we're going to get the win. I can't see a world in which United win, to be honest. So I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal.
Weird you said that. I also thought 3-1, but I think it will be weirdly... With United, it's just always weird. I just think 'cause it's opening day, something funny could happen. Like, do you remember that season when Anthony scored?
I also remember seasons where the first 3 games of the season we've got 2 red cards. So that was last season. So God knows what's going to happen.
I mean, it's hard to predict. I thought 3-1 in my head, just because I think we'll have too much for them, and I just think... But I think they'll score. I think they could score first.
The reason I always go 3-1 with these games is because they're always really tight affairs, 1 or 2 goals. But then what happens is because both teams want to win so bad, they throw caution to the wind in the last 20 minutes to try and draw, or
something like that. Yeah. And
remember that goal at Old Trafford where Jesus went through because they lobbed everyone forward.
Yeah.
And I can see that happening because I think United's fullbacks are going to start flying forward. I think Mbeumo and Cunha, they're all going to fly forward, but it's going to be a very good game because there's going to be a lot of new faces, a lot of people trying to prove a point.
Yeah.
And it's going to be really interesting.
Maybe a cameo from Sesko as well.
I think we're going to have too much for them.
All right, I agree. All right, well...
Yeah, thanks everyone for listening to the Armchair podcast.
Thanks for watching
We'll be back every single week. We've not confirmed a day yet, but every single week there will be a podcast to talk about the Premier League season, and the second half we will talk about our beloved Arsenal. So if you do enjoy this podcast, if you're listening in the car or taking a shit or whatever, please do subscribe to the channel. If you're on Spotify, follow, like the video because it helps a lot, and share it with your mates. Oh, there's actually a podcast where people are not fake and say loads of controversial stuff for clicks, and they don't make out they've got elite ball knowledge when they're just 2 losers sat on a sofa talking about football. You should listen to it.
Yeah, we're not experts, we're not pundits, but we're also not,
We'll take the piss
Rory
and
Jennings.
we'll tell you how it is. Facts.
Yeah.
All right.
But we're not. It's not for clicks.
It's not
It's
for
just
clicks,
for the love of the
because this
game.
isn't going to go anywhere, but this is for
No
the love of
one
the
is
game.
gonna watch
this is
this.
for the love of the game. If you
Yeah.
love the game, also, guys, get involved. Right? Comment on the video. What do you want us to talk about?
Come on the show if you
Come
want.
on the show if you want. We can take callers if you want to come on the show. We'll sort all this out anyway because we're going to have some guest appearances. But let us know your thoughts. Who's going to win the league? Predictions, for United and the season in general. Hot take.